Hey guys, it's probably safe to say that if you've been online in the last month or so, you've already seen the trailer for Mission Impossible Rogue Nation. You know, the one that ends with Tom Cruise hanging off the side of an actual airbus as it takes off with him in tow. Now say what you want about the man, but Cruise had the nerve to perform this practical and practically insane stunt 8 times to get it down. Mind-bending feats of sheer courage like this are par for the course when it comes to certainly the Mission Impossible franchise, but also adventure movies in general. And while it's not yet given the recognition it deserves in Hollywood, stunt work is an essential ingredient towards creating memorable action sequences and giving audiences those holy shit moments that they talk about long after the credits roll. So in honor of Tom Cruise, who will probably be base jumping off the International Space Station or mud wrestling a live grizzly bear for his next movie, here are 10 of the most insane, fall-down, batshit crazy stunts we've ever seen performed on film. Number 10. The POLECATS from Mad Max Fury Road. As far as we're concerned, George Miller's return to his signature franchise is one of the greatest action movies ever made, and part of what makes it so special was his decision to employ practical stunt work wherever possible. The most jaw-dropping example of that has got to be the final chase scene that sees Immortan Joe's forces swinging from 25-foot-high poles that are attached to moving cars in order to steal back his wives from Furiosa's vehicle. This is all while they're careening through the desert at 50 miles per hour. Miller apparently had to test various materials for the poles before settling on a high-tensile steel that would still bend the way he needed it to, and then relied on Cirque du Soleil performers to apply their unique skills to the scene. The end result is a set of stunts unlike anything we've ever seen before that definitely left a lasting impression on its fans. Number 9. The parkour chase in District B13. Back in 2004, when Luc Besson wrote and produced District B13, the phenomenon of parkour, which loosely translates to freerunning, was going mainstream in a big way, and this eye-popping rush of a movie took full advantage of the public's interest in this new extreme sport. Most movies that involve stuntmen performing dangerous leaps like the one seen here use wires and safety harnesses, which are then digitally erased in post-production. That wasn't the case with District B13. According to the filmmakers, 90% of the mind-blowing jumps were performed without wires or CG of any kind. Knowing that, the movie takes on an added level of intensity every time we see our hero, played by David Bell, the arguable founder of parkour, jump from rooftop to rooftop. One single slip-up or misjudgment could have seen the famed choreographer plummet to his death. So please, no matter how internet famous you want to be, don't try these gravity-defying stunts at home. Number 8. The Falling House in Steamboat Bill Jr. Alright, we're going way back in time for this next entry. While he was overshadowed by Charlie Chaplin during the age when both comedic filmmakers were at the height of their game, the ensuing decades have been particularly kind to Buster Keaton and have celebrated him as one of the very best physical comics the world has ever known. With his trademark deadpan stare and aptitude for dangerous exploits, Keaton made his mark with film sequences you simply had to see to believe. And none is more famous than the falling house gag that's been imitated endlessly since Steamboat Bill Jr.'s 1928 release. Set during a cyclone that begins to destroy a small town, Keaton risked his life to get the iconic shot where the 4,000-pound front side of a house falls forwards and narrowly misses him thanks to a perfectly placed upstairs window that provided just enough clearance to keep him safe. Yikes! Number 7. The truck drag in Raiders of the Lost Ark. The character of Indiana Jones was famously brought to life after director Steven Spielberg was turned down for a chance to direct a James Bond movie. So to create a worthy competitor to Bond, Spielberg packed the Indiana Jones movies with tons of crazy action scenes like this one, that saw Harrison Ford and his stunt team dragged underneath a Nazi truck. In order to complete the sequence, the truck had to be specially constructed to sit higher than normal on its wheels, and a trench had to be dug along its path to provide the actors underneath it with even more clearance. The whole thing was staged as an homage to legendary stuntman Yakima Canutt, seen here in Stagecoach pulling off the feat that inspired Indiana's own. By holding the craft in such reverence, Spielberg's team pulled off one of the greatest stunts in a series chock full of them. Number 6. A game of ship's mast in Death Proof. So while we're talking about directors with a high regard for film history, we've got our next psychotic stunt thanks to Quentin Tarantino, who lensed an epic car chase scene with his lead actress hanging onto the hood for dear life. It all starts out when Zoe Bell and her friends seek out a 1970 Dodge Challenger, the very same model used in Vanishing Point, a nice little Tarantino nod right there, and decide to play a game of ship's mast on the muscle car's hood. Yeah, what you're looking at there is a stunt person's idea of a game. Me? I like 6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon. But anyways, unbeknownst to our heroes, Kurt Russell's murderous stuntman Mike is in hot pursuit, and the fun and games quickly become a fight for survival as Zoe struggles to hang on as the girls inside the car find themselves in a brutal high-speed chase. The sequence apparently took 6 weeks to film, and while Tarantino doesn't think that Death Proof stands up against his other films, it definitely delivers when it comes to white-knuckle thrills thanks to this scene.
Ladies, that was fun!
Number 5. The hallway fight from Inception. So how on earth does someone film a zero-gravity fight scene set in a swanky hotel? with a gigantic rotating set and hours of training from its actors. That's how. Christopher Nolan blew audiences' minds with this sequence that sees Joseph Gordon-Levitt's character fighting off hostile forces as his dream's reality becomes subject to a car crash taking place in real life. Sound confusing? Well, it is, but probably nowhere near as confusing as the amount of prep work and rehearsals required to pull off this intricate stunt, one which took over 500 crew members and 3 weeks to shoot. The biggest challenge was arguably for the actors involved, who had to learn the counterintuitive choreography of the fight while the set around them rotated, constantly putting them off balance. As cinematographer Wally Pfister claimed, jumping at the wrong time could result in one being tossed 12 feet down a corridor. The risk paid off because this sequence is one of Inception's very best.
Did you see that?
Number 4. The Crocodile Bridge in Live and Let Die. The Bond franchise is responsible for some truly mind-boggling stunt work, whether it's the barrel roll car stunt from The Man with the Golden Gun, the train chase from Skyfall, or the insane bungee jump that starts off GoldenEye. For us, however, running across the backs of live crocodiles has to take the cake. And that's exactly what we saw when Bond had to escape from their enclosure in Live and Let Die. The production found a crocodile farm quite by accident while filming in Jamaica and decided to rewrite the script in order to make use of it. The crocodile farmer, Ross Kanaga, volunteered to do the stunt himself and proceeded to go for 5 takes. Now, despite being tied down to weights, these killer crocs posed a very real danger. After the first take, these beastly reptiles figured out what was going on and would snap more and more ferociously with anticipation on each subsequent attempt. On the 4th take, one of them clamped down on Kanaga's shoe and almost removed his toes with it. And then this guy Kanaga, who was not a professional stuntman at all, did it one more time to get it right. Clearly, everyone involved felt the risk was worth it, since the Crocodile Bridge crossing has become one of the most memorable, if utterly insane, sequences in any Bond movie. Number 3. The plane escape from The Dark Knight Rises. Remember when we talked about holy shit moments before? Well, seeing an airplane ripped apart mid-flight definitely qualifies as one of those. What starts off as an unexpected CIA rendition of terrorists turns into one of the craziest escapes ever filmed. As Tom Hardy's Bane slowly reveals his plan to crash the CIA's turboprop plane, a second cargo plane flanks the CIA's before a bunch of stunt divers leap towards it, shoot everyone on board, and rig it to blow. I gotta tell you, watching the fuselage fall away as Bane tethers himself to his getaway ride is a stomach-dropping thrill that sets the bar incredibly high for his diabolical character. And the fact that the production used actual planes for the stunt gives the sequence an authenticity that CG simply would not be able to recreate. There may be a lot to dislike in Christopher Nolan's capper to his Dark Knight trilogy, but Bane's ludicrous escape from CIA custody, filmed in glorious IMAX, goes a long, long way towards redeeming it. Number 2. The Burj Khalifa scene in Mission Impossible: Ghost Protocol. Before Tom Cruise dazzled anxious moviegoers by dangling off the side of a plane, he first wowed them by scaling the world's tallest building in Mission Impossible: Ghost Protocol. As was famously made clear in several behind-the-scenes videos, Tom Cruise performed this stunt himself. Yes, that's actually him you see swinging outside the 1.5-mile tall hotel. Obviously, he wore harnesses and cables that were erased later in post-production, but when the IMAX camera tilts down to give viewers Ethan's POV shot of the fall, you can't help but feel a little vertigo, or a lot, or be sick in the theater. Seriously, why does Tom Cruise have such a passionate death wish? We don't actually know, so give us your best guess in the comments. But whatever the reason, we can certainly be happy he's such a real-life daredevil because his movies are so much better for it.
Whew! That was not easy, but I did it.
And number 1, the pole slide in Police Story. No list of stunts would be complete without an entry from Jackie Chan. I mean, the man holds a world record for the most stunts performed by a living actor, despite the fact that no one, not even Guinness, knows how many that is. The current estimate is near 1,000. For our money, the one that defies all others is this breathtaking jump down a pole decked out with Christmas tree lights in 1985's Police Story. Legend has it that the pole slide very nearly killed Jackie Chan via electrocution and paralysis. The lights cut up his hands and shocked him, while the fall broke 2 of his vertebrae and dislocated his pelvis. The most impressive part, however, is that this is an uncut shot that shows Jackie Chan immediately getting up after his ordeal and cornering the bad guy. They didn't cut so he could go take a break and come back. And it's just crazy. This willingness to put his body through the ringer time and time again is what's made Jackie Chan one of the greatest stuntmen to ever live, and this may very well be the craziest stunt we've ever seen. So that's it. That's our list of the most insane, crazy stunts we've ever seen. Naturally, we left off some of your favorites, so go ahead and give them a shout out in the comments below, and then make sure to keep coming back to Ask Men every week for more fun movie lists.